Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's Simon here. Thanks so much for checking out this live stream this morning. We are going to talk about how to keep progressing and stay inspired after 30 years of guitar playing this morning. I had a question from my patron, Robert. You can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Simon Morel. Really resonated with me. I had been teaching a long time. I've been teaching about 30 years this year, and I often have people who kind of drop off from lessons, or they tell me, oh, I'm finding it hard, or I want to go every 2 weeks or whatever. And often it's not, the teaching so much, but I think sometimes you can get to a point where you feel like you've kind of plateaued. And I wanted to talk to you this morning about a whole range of ideas that will help you sort of smash through the wall, if you like. His question was, Simon, I've been trying on and off for 30 years. I will stop for extended periods, but I find my hands and fingers don't take long to reach my peak. But I have been making progress, and I'm mostly self-taught. Is there a structural framework for continuing to grow my guitar skills without it feeling like a chore? I might as well stop telling people I play guitar. I'm turning into a guitar collector. All right, so there you go. That's what Robert says. So here's my ideas. I've written them down. So first up, I think the big thing to do is to try and get to play with people. Right now, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You might have a mate who plays guitar. You might have a mate who plays something else. Just get together and play stuff. Have a plan before you get together, so you don't just sort of turn up and go, what do you know? Oh, I don't know that. And what do you know? Oh, I don't know that, kind of thing. So set yourself, 4 or 5 songs to learn, and then play them over a course of 3/4 of an hour or whatever, have a cup of tea or a beer at the same time. I find that is the absolute #1 way of getting into the guitar, because it's actually really, really fun, because you realize that you've put all this hard work into learning something, and you get something out of it once you start playing together with somebody else. Garage bands are awesome fun. Find a space, find a drummer, a bass player, guitar player, smash out some rock classics, at high volume is always excellent. The other thing I would say is you could, maybe there's like a local guitar kind of camp or workshop or something like that you could go to, and you'll probably find that quite inspiring, I should think. You'll see other people playing, you're like, oh, that's great, I want to be able to do that, or I want to try this, or I want to try that. That is really great. Now, and this last one is something I have often suggested to people, and they look at me like, oh, hang on, what? But try and teach somebody else, right? I've got to say that, so I've been teaching guitar for all these years, and one of the best things about playing the guitar is teaching the guitar. I get so much out of it, and it's made me a much better guitar player, because, as soon as you actually have to explain something to somebody, then you have to really know it yourself, and it doesn't matter what level you are. If you can play some whatever, you can teach somebody how to do that. And it's a really satisfying experience, I would say. Okay, so the next stuff is really what Robert had asked about. He'd asked about, how do I have a plan or whatever? And that is really, really, really important. So having a plan and, okay, so this week I'm learning this, and then I'm going to do these exercises on the side is really, really good. But make them achievable goals. So, if you've just started playing guitar, don't try something too hard. All right. If it looks like, a nightmare on the page, or, however you're learning it, maybe try and pick something a bit easier first, because then you get the dopamine hit of actually having been able to do it. And when you are learning things, set yourself up a YouTube playlist, and once you've learned the songs, play along with the songs, because that's a bit like playing with people as well. So when we talk about structured practice, what I always say to people is, #1, do a warm-up. That should take, let's say, 10% of the time. #2, practice the thing that you're practicing now. And number 3 for being a good student is you get to play whatever you like at whatever volume you like and whatever sounds you like or whatever it is. And that will be your repertoire. And so as you progress, the second part, the song you're learning, will go into your repertoire, and then you learn a new song, but you always do your warm-up first. Now, your warm-up can be a range of things. I just realized I haven't plugged the guitar in, so you're not going to be able to hear that one. Let me just grab a guitar. Things like really simple exercises. So if you do that for 3 or 4 minutes before you get going, it's great because it gives you a great opportunity to get the most out of your practice, because you'll be ready, your brain will be in the guitar, whatever's going on in your life, you won't be worried about that because you'll be concentrating on actually doing the guitar, right? And also use a metronome or a drummer or something like that. I'll put a link in the Patreon post so that you can find that later. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. See what I mean? Tick tock, tick tock. It doesn't have to be this, but this is great because you're just playing first, second, third, fourth finger, and it's really, really easy to remember. It's not like you're having to do something like that. You know what I mean? Okay. So structured practice, that is great. Alternatively, there might be something that you think, oh my God, I'll never be able to play that so hard. Have a go at it. I know I said, don't try things too challenging, but if there's something that you've always really, really wanted to learn, you should definitely have a go at it. Years ago, 20 years ago, I was teaching this kid, and he was, he didn't want to do it, right? I think his dad wanted him to do it. And he was always asking me to learn. I want to learn how to play Sweet Child of Mine. And I was like, mate, that's not going to be the first thing we learn. So we went through the chords, and it goes like this, D, da, ba, 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 ba. And he was like, no, I don't want to learn that bit. I want to learn that bit, right? And I was like, you're not going to be able to learn that straight away. And after a few weeks, I just thought, oh, well, stuff it. I'm just going to show him how to do that. And I showed him how to do that. And he came back the next week, and he actually had practiced. And then about 3 or 4 weeks after that, his dad took him to go and see AEDT. And that was it. And now he loves playing the guitar, and he must be 25, 26, something like that. And it was amazing. So if there's really something that you want to have a go at, don't be afraid to have a go at it. And also set time aside to play. So, people always ask me, how many times a week should I practice? Well, quit your job and, practice 17 hours a day. No, I'd say practice 3-4 times a week for 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be often. All right. And set times. So, I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday morning or Sunday morning or something. So, and those are your times. It's a bit like if you have got a job and you've got a boss and you have to meet the boss at, Monday at 6 o'clock, then that is the time that you'll practice. And if you can't do it that week because, you've got something else, dinner plans or whatever, then just switch that practice session to another time, but try and stick to it. And I know that sounds quite rigorous, but actually over time, you'll get into the zone of doing it, and it'll become a habit, and it'll be like, and you'll feel the progression. And, appreciate it might not be like big steps, because the better you get, the steps are smaller and more spread apart, but you will still get steps, 100%. All right. That's the other thing. I love my guitar looper. I just set it up, I pick some simple chords, and I just play. And I find it super inspiring. Or I steal chords from songs, and I try and make a different melody over those songs, So simple chords, G, and then, whatever it might be. I love doing that. I do it all the time. Okay. Oh, and the other thing with that is record your progress. So you can kind of, if you are learning something, just switch your webcam on or switch your phone on or video your phone or whatever, and just have a go at doing it. And I think you'll find that you go, because when you're just by yourself, it's really hard to recognize progression because you're in your own self, right? But imagine if you're doing that warm-up, we said, and this week you did it at 60 beats a minute, and then the next week you did it at 80 beats a minute, and you couldn't do it at 80 the week before. Well, then you've improved, and you'll feel that improvement in you, and it will give you more motivation to continue to try to do stuff. Record. It's really good. It sounds a bit, but it's good. Okay. Now, where's that other one? I wrote something down here. Oh, that's right. Taking lessons. I know I'm a guitar teacher. I'm not like, take guitar lessons. But having somebody who works as a coach or effectively who kind of eggs you on and goes, oh, that's great. Or, oh, no, don't do that, do this, is really, really great. Now, even if you can't afford a weekly lesson, maybe even a fortnightly, every 2 weeks, sorry, fortnightly, I know nobody else in the world uses that phrase, but every 2 weeks or even once a month or something like that, it will really help you keep going because it will be inspiring. But also you have the sort of, oh, I better practice because I've got my lesson coming up kind of thing. And that is really, really helpful. The other thing that teacher or person or whoever it is will do for you will introduce you to stuff that you hadn't found before. And this is, I guess, another part of it where just trying to find other stuff. So, podcasts is, a newish sort of thing. And there are loads of new music podcasts. There are loads of music podcasts on old music or music that happened before, or there's absolutely loads of them. There's so many resources out there. And you listen to them and they're entertaining and they're fun. One of my absolute favorite music podcasts is Strong Songs, where they basically talk about a song, pull it apart, explain what's happening, and not to a degree of like, oh my God, my theory brain is going to explode. But he does do a bit of that, but also is super enthusiastic about it. And it's just a fantastic podcast. And I found that super inspiring. I'll put a link in the Patreon post to that. But there are so many other music podcasts that I love. I'll put a link to all of them, in fact. How about that? And lastly, because I know this can get a bit out of hand, is new stuff. I had a period where I loved new stuff. Oh, I've got this. I haven't had a Jazzmaster, or I haven't had a Telecaster, or I haven't had a this or a Les Paul or whatever. That can be awesome because they make different sounds, and so you're used to this sort of particular sound, and then you plug something else in, and it's a completely different sound, and that's fun. Or guitar pedals, or whatever. Like I think there's loads of things you can do around that to make it a bit more interesting for yourself. So, in summary, those things are: play with other people, whoever it is. Try and teach somebody else how to play the guitar. That's fun, and you'll get better. Set clear goals in your practice. Try and split your practice up into a number of parts. So like a warm-up, a doing part, like a learning the thing that you're learning at the moment, and then playing for fun part. And the last thing is, I love just making up backing tracks or play along with backing tracks. It's like you Google backing track on YouTube, there'll be 8 billion different ones you can play along with. And they tell you the scale, and often they have the scale even up on the screen. And then maybe consider taking some lessons. I think that's good. Even if it's not every week, like I mentioned. So hopefully that is a helpful rundown of things that I have used personally to, to keep going on the guitar and have it still be fun. Now, are there any questions? I should have said that at the beginning. Feel free to ask a question. I'll just wait 2 seconds here whilst that happens. Let's see, we've got any questions? Doesn't sound like we do. Doesn't sound like we do. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This week was quite a cool week, so I got 15,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed here, please do click the button. And if you want to get more guitar stuff, including, I think now there's over 650 posts at patreon.com/Simon Morel. There's a whole bunch of exclusive lessons that don't appear anywhere else. But of course, there's loads of lessons here at YouTube as well. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Have a great Sunday. And any questions, please feel free to send me an email, simon@simonmorel.com. Bye for now. Thanks so much. Oh, hang on. I've got some questions. Ian says, thanks. No questions, but thanks for the content. Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye for now.